this is Carla and welcome back to the studio, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Throwback Thursday. Throwback Thursday where I am using my retired stash. So for this Thursday I will be featuring the Cling stamp set, A Little Cheesy. I love any of the stamp sets that we get that have, some puns in it, some, little funny quotes and things like that. And in this one, we have a cookie and it says, "You're one tough cookie." We have another one here, a glass of wine. It says, "Where there's a wine, there's a way." A bowl of pudding that says, "Thanks for putting up with me." And then a block of cheese that says, "It might sound cheesy, but I think you're great." So we're going to be using this stamp set. I'm also going to be bringing in the Stylish Shapes dies. Now these dies are currently available in our annual catalog. And then also for my projects, I am going to bring in 2 packs of our 6x6 DSP. So I'm using the brights and the subtles. Now these are the current patterns that are available in our annual catalog. Okay, so to get started, let me bring in the stuff for our first card. So we're going to be doing it might sound cheesy, but I think you're a great card. So I have a piece of Daffodil Delight. This measures 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4.25. I have a piece of that Brights DSP. This is the Daffodil Delight color. This measures 5 by 2. And then I have some scraps. I have some crushed curry and then some basic white. So I am going to start off with, I'm going to stamp these pieces first. One of them I'm going to color in with my blend, so I want the ink to dry some. And then of course I got my greeting. So I'm going to be using my Memento Tuxedo black ink. And on this longer piece here, I'm going to stamp my greeting. I'm going to ink this up really well. And I'm just going to stamp that right in the middle of that cardstock. I'm not worried about if it's just a little crooked or anything because I'm going to be die cutting that. So I'm going to be bringing in one of the Stylish Shapes, and it's one of these banner pieces. This one right here, and that fits perfectly on that. So I'm going to set that aside. And then for my cheese here, I'm going to take this, ink it up. And then I'm going to stamp that right in the middle. Like so. Okay, so I'm done with my stamping. I'm going to put that aside. Okay, and then in the Stylish Shapes, I have grabbed 2 of the layering circles. So this larger one, I am going to die cut my crushed curry piece here. And then the smaller one will be for my block of cheese. Now before I die cut this piece, what I want to do is I want to color it in. So I'm going to use my dark and light Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blends. This is Stampin' Up's alcohol marker, so I'm going to put those aside. Let's see, what else do we got? We got our card base, so let me fold and burnish that. I try to do all of like the really simple things, at the start for my cards when I do my pre-recorded videos. And then things like that would take time, that would cause a video to go really long, like coloring and die cutting. I do that in a separate video clip, so it's part of the video, but it's sped up. And then I add that really cool music to it as well. So that stuff I'm going to do all at the same time. And then I come back, and then the last part of that particular clip for the card would be assembling everything. Okay, so for my piece of DSP, I'm going to use this pattern here that has all the circles on it. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to, I just dropped my cap somewhere. I'm going to have to get that. So I'm going to add adhesive to this piece, and then I'm going to add it onto my card base. Now, I want it to be about equal on the top and bottom, but I'm going to leave a bigger border here on the left-hand side. And then I'm going to set this aside because my next part now is going to be the coloring and die cutting. So I will be right back. Okay, so let me bring in all my pieces here. So I am going to take my crushed curry circle here. I'm going to add some seal to the back of this. And I'm going to adhere this out here on my card like so. And then my circle here with my block of cheese, I'm going to bring in some dimensionals. Now on my dimensionals here, I have some pieces, my edge pieces. So those are just as good as the dimensionals themselves. So I'm going to use up these pieces here and use up the whole sheet. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and I'm going to pop this on top of this crushed curry circle. So when I go to place this down, I'm going to have this edge right here be straight and the rest will be angled. Okay, there we go. And then for my greeting, I'm going to add, let's see, is all this going to fit on here? Yeah, actually it will. Oops, I actually got this cut up in pieces. Well, except for that one. Okay, so we use that whole sheet. Okay, and then I'm going to take my greeting and I'm going to add that right about, and bring it down just a little bit. Place that right there. Now for my embellishments, I'm going to bring in the Glossy Dots assortment. These have been around actually for a while. So whereas the rest of the suite, this was part of retired, these Glossy Dots had carried over. So we have Gorgeous Grape, Melon Mambo, Daffodil Delight, and Pool Party. So I'm going to use these Daffodil Delight ones. So I'm going to take two of these smaller ones and I'm going to add them on either side of this banner here. Like so. Okay, and then I haven't done this on a card for a while, it seems. So I'm going to bring in my Wink of Stella and we're going to wink up our block of cheese. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to see if I've actually gotten any on with the light. Well, there we go. There is our first card. On to our second. Okay, so for my second card, I have a piece of basic white thick. This measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at 4.25. I have a piece of the Subtles 6x6 DSP. This is the same type of pack as the Brights that I used in the last card. This one is the Bubble Bath color. And then I have like 3 scraps of basic white. So I'm going to start off with folding and burnishing my card base. And then on this piece of DSP, I'm going to use the side with the stripes on it. And I'm going to add some seal to the back of this. And then I'm going to put this at an angle. So I'm going to line up this corner and this corner of the paper to this corner and this corner of my card base. So the other 2 corners are not going to touch the sides of the card. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. Then on these pieces, now because I'm doing like the pink and the white, I want my images that I'm going to stamp to be a little bit more subtle. So I'm going to use my smoky slate to stamp my images. So I'm going to stamp 2 of these bowls of pudding. Now this is a new ink pad, so it is very inky. And I'm just going to stamp these right in the middle. I'm not worried about it being straight or whatever because these are actually going to be fussy cut. And I will admit to you that fussy cutting is not one of my favorite things to do. Some people enjoy it. Some people don't, and I'm one of them that I don't like it. Okay, so I've stamped those using my smoky slate, and I'm going to let those kind of like sit for a moment just so they can dry because I will be coloring those in with my blends as well. So when you are coloring with your alcohol markers, you can use like the ink-based ink pads, like any one of our colored ink pads or the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. The one ink that you do not want to use when you're coloring with your blends would be the StazOn ink because that's a solvent ink. And if you go and use your markers with that ink, you're just going to smear that ink when you go to color. So the water-based ones work great for your alcohol markers. So I'm going to let those dry a little bit so that way that ink won't smear at all when I go to use my markers. Now for my greeting, I'm going to use my Bubble Bath ink. This is the color of the DSP that we're using. And then I'm going to use that stamp that says, "Thanks for putting up with me." And this, I'm going to stamp this in the middle. Like so. And then for this piece here, I'm going to die cut using another one of those stylish shapes. And this one's the label, and this one's a little bit smaller than the one that we use. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that aside. Okay, so now for this part, let me explain what I'm going to do because this is the part I'm going to speed up. So for these 2 pudding images, I'm going to color them in. So I'm going to be doing chocolate and vanilla pudding. So I'm using my ivory for my vanilla and the bronze for the chocolate. I have my light smoky slate for my spoons. And then for the bowl, I have my dark and light pool party. So I'm going to color these in. I'm going to fussy cut them, and then I'm also going to die cut that greeting piece, and I will be right back. Okay, so let me bring in all of my pieces. So on here, I am going to add dimensionals to the back of both of my puddings. And I'm going to use some of these edge pieces and use up another sheet of my dimensionals. There's always something satisfying when you end up using up a whole sheet. Put some over here. And then I'm going to get a small one. I'm going to get my minis. And I'm going to put that, take the small ones, and I'm going to put that on these spoons here. And kind of place them in a direction to where you won't see them poking out from behind them. Okay. And then I'm going to take my vanilla. And I'm going to put that right up here, like so. And then my other one is going to go down in the opposite corner. Oops. Okay, I did get that off. And I'm going to put that right there. And then for my greeting, I'm just going to add adhesive to that. I'm not going to pop this up. And I'm going to add this straight. Attempt to do it straight and in, whoops, and in the middle. So let me kind of pick it up. It'll be a little bit easier for me to see. I got it straight. Okay, I'll just press that down. Then I'm going to bring in these embellishments again. This time I'm going to use these, I believe those are Pool Party. They're either Pool Party or Coastal Cabana, but I'm thinking these were Pool Party. So I'm going to use the 3 different sizes of these. And three of these on here. I'll put one more up in that corner. And then I'm going to bring in the Wink of Stella again. And I am going to take some of this and I am going to put it on everything but the pudding. I'm going to get the whipped cream here and the spoon and the bowl. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Okay, there we go. So there is our second card. So let me bring in my first one. So we did the one, it might sound cheesy, but I think you're great. And thanks for putting up with me. So if you like these projects, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. It does help me in growing this channel, which also in turn helps me in growing my Stampin' Up! Business. And I appreciate all the likes, the comments, the shares, you name it. Click on the notification bell. That does let you know when I'm either going live or when I'll be posting another pre-recorded video like this one. So this is my Throwback Thursday for this week. I will have another one next Thursday, and I will be using a whale of a time suite of products. So that was really fun to put those projects together. And then tomorrow will be Friday. What will be Friday's date? I'm recording this early, so this coming Friday, the 9th. Friday the 9th? Is that right? I think that's right. Friday the 9th. This would be easy if I actually was recording this on a Thursday, but I'm actually recording this on a Monday, so I'm kind of working ahead of the game. So this coming Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, I will be featuring the, what am I, hold on a second. Have you ever had it where your memory like all of a sudden goes? Magnolia Mood is the bundle that I will be featuring. That is currently in our online exclusives. Wow, I can't believe I forgot what the name of that bundle was. So that will be my Friday night live. And again, I'll be going live 7 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on this channel. And I hope that you'll be able to join me. And if you can't, I hope you'll be able to watch the replay. So until then, everyone, have a blessed one. Bye bye.